This episode of PhoneBuff is brought to you by lynda.com. What's up guys, David here from PhoneBuff, and for the most part, smartphones do the same thing. I don't care if you have an iPhone, Windows Phone, Android, or even a BlackBerry. If you have a smartphone, odds are that it does most of the same things that my smartphone does. Unless your phone is defective, it can make calls, text, browse the web, download an app, take a picture, etc, etc, etc. The fact of the matter is, most of the features that we need our smartphones to do, our smartphones generally do. So what about the features that we want our smartphones to do? Better yet, what about the features that we think our smartphones should be able to do? Well, in this video, I'm going to be giving you my top 10 features that I think every smartphone, regardless of platform, should have. But before I do that, I want to give a big shout out to lynda.com for making this video possible. Now, for those of you who follow me on Twitter, you know that I just recently built my first app. Now, it's not something extraordinary, it's just a simple calculator, but for a beginner like me, it's something I'm actually really proud of, and I was able to do it from start to finish in just a few hours with lynda.com's video tutorials. So if you want to learn how to do the same, or if you want to learn something else like how to take better pictures or edit better videos, lynda.com has thousands of video courses for you to choose from, with more and more being added every week. Plans start at just $25 a month, and for you phone buffs, lynda.com is hooking it up with a free 7-day trial. So click on that first link down below in the description, check out what lynda.com has to offer, and hey, help support the channel in the process. All right, let's get right into it. So the first feature that I think every smartphone should have is a fingerprint scanner. Now, I can already hear some of you guys saying that fingerprint scanners are a gimmick, but hear me out for a second. A fingerprint scanner, when it's done right, lets you secure your phone without it taking any longer than having no password at all. In fact, when you use a phone like the iPhone 5S, having a fingerprint scanner or fingerprint password enabled actually lets you get into the phone faster than just swiping to unlock. So you get to have the same level of security as a regular password, while also making the process of unlocking your phone more convenient. And add to that the fact that more and more apps will be supporting fingerprint scanners for things like mobile payments, and it's a win-win-win. 2. Front-facing speakers. Audio is directional, so speakers that face towards you instead of away from you just make sense. If you don't believe me, listen to the audio that comes out of a phone like the HTC One, and I can pretty much guarantee you that you'll wonder why every smartphone doesn't have them. Seriously, these front-facing speakers sound so much better than anything else out there. So much so that I'd go as far as saying that I'll take one front-facing speaker over 2 rear speakers. Let's say goodbye to phone cupping for good. 3. 4K video. I've noticed that whenever I do a video talking about a phone that can record in 4K, there always seems to be somebody in the comments saying that 4K video recording is useless because most of us don't have 4K displays right now. But while that may be true, the reality is when we record a video on our phones, we're typically trying to capture memories not only for playing back right away, but for playing back in 2, 3, or 4 years down the line. And by that time, 4K may be the new 1080p, so it makes sense to have your memories captured in 4K now so you can view them in 4K later. 4. Emergency alerts. So if you've watched a couple of the videos I've done on the Galaxy S5, you've probably heard about the send help messages option, and basically what it is let's say you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you get mugged, or you're being followed by some creepy guys, or you get in a car accident. If you triple tap the power button, the phone will automatically send a photo from your front and rear cameras, a short sound recording, and maybe most importantly, your precise location to the people on your emergency contact list. So that way they can get an idea of where you are and what's happening to you in a split second. Now, this feature may not be one that most of us use, and hopefully we never have to, but in the situations where we do, it can literally be a lifesaver. The 5th feature that I think every smartphone should have is touchless controls, or more specifically, touchless voice assistants. On a phone like the Moto X, you're able to give it a simple wake-up command and access all the great things that Google now can do without ever having to physically touch the phone. And I'm telling you, once you get used to having this feature for a while, it's hard to go back to any other phone that doesn't have it, which to me is a clear sign that every smartphone should. 6. Split screen multitasking. When I use my computer, I often use more than one app at the same time, and with smartphones getting bigger and bigger screens, it only makes sense that I should be able to do the same thing on my smartphone. For example, when I use a calculator and a web browser to try to figure out how many calories I just consumed in my massive meal, it's so much easier to do when I can see and use both apps at the same time instead of having to switch back and forth between the two. 7. Water and dust resistance. Sure, you may be careful with your phone and avoid situations where it can get damaged due to the elements, but having water and dust resistance built right into the phone can potentially save it when somebody else does something like push you into a pool or spill their drink all over it. But those are the obvious benefits, and for me, the ones that I find more useful on a day-to-day basis are being able to pick up a phone call while you're washing the dishes, or using your phone while you're eating something messy and being able to wash it off later. I know we've all kind of been conditioned to not use our phones in these type of situations, but with a water and dust resistant phone, we don't really have to worry about it anymore, which to me adds greatly to the overall user experience. 8. Power saving modes. A few months back, I stayed at a hotel in LA for my cousin's birthday party, and I made the classic mistake of forgetting my charger at home, so I had like 20% battery to last me not only throughout the night, but also the next day until I got home. Well, luckily, I had a phone that had a power saving mode that effectively turned the smartphone into a dumb phone, but it made it last throughout the night easily, and when I got home, I still had about 10% left. Now, forgetting my charger or going desperately low on battery life isn't something that I like to do all the time, but in that situation, the power saving mode was really useful, and I couldn't help but to think to myself that every smartphone should have a feature like it. 9. Fast charging. Nope, I'm not done talking about battery life just yet, because no matter what kind of great features a smartphone has, if its battery is dead, you can't really use any of them, right? So the number one priority should be battery life, and with fast charging on a phone like the Oppo Find 7, if you forget to plug in your phone one night and you wake up the next day with a dead battery, you can charge it from 0 to 75% in about 30 minutes while you get ready for school or work. It's an awesome feature to have, and I'd love it if all my phones had it. Okay, so we're finally here. The 10th feature that I think every smartphone should have is a private or guest mode. The fact is that our smartphones hold a lot of information about our lives. It's almost a virtual reflection of ourselves, and we may not want others who borrow our phones to be able to access everything on them. So a private or a guest mode that hides the apps and files that you don't want other people to see is something that every smartphone should have. But that about does it for my list. Those are the top 10 features that I think every smartphone should have. All of the features I listed in this video make the user experience better, they don't really get in our way, and the most important part is they work seamlessly. But what are your top 10 features? Let me know down in the comments, but other than that is pretty much it for me in this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up to show your love, and subscribe to the channel for more mobile technology videos from me, just like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the very next episode.